In our closer look, Bill and Melinda Gates. With their foundation, they are attempting a seemingly overwhelming task to improve the health of millions in some of the world's poorest nations. Tonight in Washington, they're launching the Living Proof Project, designed to show the money they are spending, along with money from the U.S. government, really is working and really is making a difference. Last year, the Gates Foundation gave away almost $3 billion. And since it began, donations total more than $20 billion. I talked with Bill and Melinda Gates this morning.
We're trying to tell the story of how the U.S. government's investments in global health have made a huge difference and saved millions of lives. And it's not often you hear about a government program that's gone so well. In fact, even better than expected.
When we travel and we see the progress that's being made on the ground in places like Africa and India, we say to ourselves, my gosh, you come back to the U.S. and you pick up the newspaper and you don't read about what incredible program like the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, what that's really done for Africans. It's completely changed the sense of hopelessness they had about AIDS before.
Most important, I suspect each of you have a different answer to this, most important breakthrough.
Well, the biggest impact has been getting new vaccines to be created and getting those out and distributed. There's two new ones, one for a type of diarrhea rotavirus, another for respiratory, a pneumonia vaccine, which between them will save millions of lives. And those are just now getting out in the developing world. They're being used regularly for the kids in the United States. And so that is the single biggest thing, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say that has been huge.
You're going to agree on this?
On this one, I would agree on what advance has been made, because when you look at childhood deaths, I mean, this is where Bill and I really started, was saying, could you really do something about all these childhood deaths around the world? And it is the vaccines that make just a phenomenal amount of difference.
The problems are so enormous. Sometimes do you feel it's like throwing something into the ocean and the ripples extend, but eventually it just goes back to the way it was? Or do you feel there's lasting impact?
You know, I worried about that when we especially first got into this work, is it just feels like, wow, there's so much need. You know, I was in Tanzania earlier this year, and you know, I met a woman who had walked 6 hours to a rural health clinic because she knew the difference of having her baby birthed in that clinic. When I look at something like this immunization effort, you know, 2.5 million kids are alive because of that effort that wouldn't have been there before. So when I go out and meet people and see what the difference is, then you don't lose hope. You really don't.
What's the next great, in your mind, metamorphosis that we're going to go through in terms of personal computing and modern technology?
Well, we're still mostly using the keyboard and the mouse, and so the ability to have the computer see you, see gestures you're making, that's coming for both the PC and the Xbox. A voice interaction where you can talk to your phone, that's coming more and more. And so this kind of natural interface will make the computer more pervasive, less, you know, this single device. That's been talked about for a long time, but it's finally entering the mainstream.
When you mean the computer, I'm not sure I want the computer to see me as I sit there in front of it. That's a somewhat frightening thought. What does that mean?
Well, it can watch you exercise and, you know, encourage you to do your calisthenics properly. If, you know, you want to play virtual tennis or golf, you can just, you know, swing. It's very cool. You know, that'll be coming out next year, and I think it'll amaze people.
Do you find him slipping back into his old habits at times and where his energies and thoughts are focused, or do you have him squarely in the foundation?
Oh, Bill's always been clear, even since the years we were dating. Software is at the heart of where his brain is a lot of the times, and so sure, I see him doing a lot of Microsoft business from here and there as he needs to, which is great. I think that's still very important. But yeah, the foundation's what primarily he's spending the bulk of his time on, and that's really, really fun for us.
To see the entire conversation with Bill and Melinda Gates and to see much of the video of the Living Proof Project, you can go to our blog, The World Newser, at abcnews.com.